Here's what happened this week at City Council.
This was a joint presentation between the Streets and Maintenance Department and the El Paso Police Department to update council on the status of fatalities and public safety on streets in the city of El Paso. What we did was give them an update on not only the processes we already have in place to make streets safer and to make sure they're multimodal. That means cyclists and pedestrians and vehicles can all use it.
This week we provided City Council a fiscal year 19 year-end CIP report where we presented to them all the activity that we've had this past year and then gave them a preview of what we got coming up in fiscal year 20. This all totaled and had a big impact to our community from an economic development perspective as well, where we contributed towards almost over 9,000 construction-related jobs, as well as indirect and induced jobs. We presented a recommendation to City Council to award a professional services contract for design services in order to provide a design and construction documents to mitigate the flood designation at Metro 31. So what this project will do is bring the property out of the floodplain under FEMA regulations.
In the Regional Housing Plan, we presented the culmination of 18 months of work that really identifies the housing gap in our community and the things the city can do to address that. Council asked us to come back in 45 days with a timeline to deploy those recommendations as well as establish a joint housing task force. They reviewed the policy today, and while I think there was support for the policy itself, there were some questions about providing additional points towards lifting people up in their financial capacity. So Council asked us to come back in 2 weeks with an adapted scoring policy for the tax credits.
We presented Council with the recommendation to award a construction contract to CSA Constructors for the reconstruction of Robinson Street and Drainage Phase 2. This is a project that will reconstruct Robinson from Piedmont to Ochoa and is a continuation of Robinson Phase 1 that will be replacing the pavement and adding sidewalks to the roadway, as well as intersection illumination.
We provided a snapshot to the Mayor and City Council that outlined key initiatives that we're working on with our core group through the Communities of Excellence effort. So what that means is we've partnered very specifically with UMC and EPISD to focus on 3 key areas that we really want to work on meaningfully to provide results.
26.2 is a presentation to City Council to highlight the existing facilities that will be improved as part of the 2019 El Paso Public Safety Bonds that will be that will be voted on by the community on November 5th. What we touch on is out of all the existing facilities that we have related to public safety, 81 of those will be improved as if the bond passes this coming November 5th. Most of the fire stations, 34 of them, will be improved, as well as all the existing command centers as part of the bond program.
So there was no action taken. Today was just a budget update. It's part of our kickoff for the fiscal year 2021 budget process. So today we just provided an update as far as what type of topics we're going to be doing in the future council meetings. So over the last few years, one of the things that we do as part of the budget process is provide council and the community an update on various topics. And so today we talked about what some of those topics are going to be. One of the big ones is some of the impacts we're seeing from the state. In this last legislative cycle, we saw some changes to the way we're going to go about our budget process. So we'll give an update on that. We'll do updates on cost drivers, property taxes, property values, major revenue sources, and so really just provide council some input as far as what those topics are going to be, and also solicit their ideas if there's something that's interesting to them that we can get that feedback and incorporate that into our budget update process.
So today we did a briefing on the police fleet vehicle purchase plan. Council back in 2017 approved $19.8 million for the replacement of our marked vehicle fleet. We were successful at not only replacing the marked vehicles and our motorcycles, but achieved enough savings to be able to replace 15 other vehicles that are also marked vehicles. The action really was to inform Council of our upcoming needs that are associated with the bond, and also to share with them our 5-year plan in terms of our vehicle replacement cycle. The high point and highlight of the whole presentation was that we are currently at 0% of our marked vehicles that are older than 2016, which is amazing from where we were a few years ago.